The air tasted like metal and smoke. Captain Tae-ho Kim pressed his back against the cold wall. His heart beat fast, but his hands stayed steady. 3 of his team members were already dead. Only he and Sergeant Day remained. "Captain, they're coming from both sides," whispered Da. His face was covered in sweat and dirt. Tae-ho nodded. "I know." He checked his weapon. Only 7 shots left. Not enough. They had been sent to this Imperial base for one reason: to find out about the new weapon the Empire was building to destroy Earth. For 3 days, they had moved through the shadows of the massive space station. They had found the data they needed, but now they were trapped. "Sir, the data, did you send it?" Dai asked. "Some of it, not all." Tae-ho tapped the small device on his wrist. The upload bar showed 62%. Not enough to give Earth a fighting chance. Heavy footsteps echoed down the corridor. The Empire's soldiers were getting closer. "Go," Tae-ho told Da. "Take the emergency exit. I'll hold them off." Day shook his head. "No, sir. We both go, or we both stay." A strange calm came over Tae-ho. This was always how it might end. He had known the risks when he signed up for the secret program back on Earth. The doctors had injected something into his blood. Something that would activate when needed, they said. Maybe now was the time. "That's an order, Sergeant," Tae-ho said firmly. "Earth needs to know what you've seen." Before Dai could argue again, the wall beside them exploded. Sharp pieces of metal flew everywhere. Dai fell. A large piece of metal stuck in his chest. His eyes were open, but he didn't see anything anymore. Tae-ho fired his weapon at the shapes moving through the smoke. One fell, then another. His gun clicked empty. "Human detected." "Surrender now," came a robotic voice. Tae-ho pulled out his knife. If he was going to die, he would die fighting. 5 Imperial soldiers moved toward him. Their armor was black and shiny, their faces hidden behind masks that looked like skulls. Behind them walked a tall figure in a white uniform. Commander Do-hyun, the head of Imperial intelligence in this sector. "Ah, the famous human resilience," Do-hyun said, his voice smooth and cold. "I've heard so much about your kind, how you keep fighting when you should just give up." Tae-ho lunged forward with his knife, but never reached his target. A wave of energy hit him, freezing every muscle in his body. He couldn't move, couldn't even blink. Do-hyun walked closer, studying Tae-ho like he was looking at an interesting bug. "Captain Tae-ho Kim of Earth's Defense Force." "Yes, we know who you are." He smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "We've been waiting for someone like you." 2 soldiers grabbed Tae-ho's frozen body and started to drag him away. "Take him to Interrogation Chamber 1, Do-hyun ordered, "and inform Admiral Ju-won that we've captured a human officer. She'll be very pleased." As they dragged him through the station's corridors, Tae-ho saw other aliens watching. Some looked away. Others seemed happy to see a human caught. One small creature with big eyes looked sad, as if it knew what was waiting for Tae-ho. The data upload on his wrist device showed 89% when one of the soldiers noticed it and ripped it off. He was transmitting data, the soldier shouted. Do-hyun smiled again. "It doesn't matter. Soon he'll tell us everything. What he sent, what he knows, and all about Earth's defenses." He leaned close to Tae-ho's ear. "No one has ever survived my questioning, Captain. But I'm going to keep you alive for a long, long time. The Empire wants to know everything about humans, and you're going to help us understand how to break your entire species." The doors to Interrogation Chamber 1 slid open, revealing a room full of machines that Tae-ho had never seen before. And for the first time since the mission began, he felt real fear. Tae-ho woke up strapped to a cold metal table. Bright lights hurt his eyes. His uniform was gone. Small machines beeped all around him. "Awake at last," said Commander Do-hyun, stepping into view. "Most species need much longer to recover. Humans are. Interesting." Do-hyun pressed a button, and the table tilted up. Now Taeho could see the whole room. It was white and clean. Too clean. The walls had no marks. The floor had no dirt. Everything smelled like chemicals. "Where are the rest of your team members?" Do-hyun asked. His voice was calm, like he was asking about the weather. Taeho said nothing. He thought of his training. Name. Rank. Nothing else. "Captain Taeho Kim, Earth Defense Force," he said. "That's all you get." Do-hyun smiled. "Oh, we'll get much more." He waved his hand, and a machine rolled forward. It had many arms with different tools. None of them looked nice. "This is a level 1 probe," Do-hyun explained. "We'll start easy and work our way up." The first few hours were bad. The machine used small needles that felt like fire under his skin. Taeho bit his lip until it bled, but he didn't scream. He wouldn't give them that. During a break, Taeho closed his eyes. He thought of home, of the small farm where he grew up, of his mother picking apples in the fall, of his father teaching him to fish in the clear stream behind their house. Then he remembered the day the military came to their village. The Empire had attacked an Earth colony. They needed soldiers, strong ones, smart ones, ones who could handle special training. "Interesting," said Do-hyun, watching a screen next to Taeho. "Your mind is very active." A door opened, and a woman walked in. She wore a black uniform with many badges. Her face was cold and hard. "Admiral Jae-won," Do-hyun said with a small bow. "You honor us." "I don't have time for honor," she said. "Earth sent 6 soldiers. I want to know why." Taeho watched her. This was the person in charge of the Empire's attack on Earth. She looked human, but something was off. Her movements were too perfect. Her skin too smooth. "The human resists." "Admiral," said Do-hyun. "We've tried level 1. Jae-won looked at Taeho like he was dirt. "Try level 3. Skip level 2. Do-hyun seemed shocked. "Admiral, the treaty with the Galactic Council says." "The Council isn't here," Jae-won cut him off. "And time is not on our side. The weapon must be ready in 3 days. We need to know what Earth knows." She walked closer to Taeho. "Your species is so proud. So sure you're special. The universe has seen 1,000,000 species rise and fall. Yours is just one more." Taeho looked straight at her. "Then why are you afraid of us?" Jae-won's face changed for just a second. Was it anger or fear? Then it was cold again. "Level 3, she ordered, and left the room. The new machine they brought in was bigger. It had fewer arms but larger tools. And something new, a helmet with wires. "This will connect directly to your brain," Do-hyun explained. "It will be unpleasant." When they put the helmet on Taeho's head, it felt like ice. Then the pain came. Not like the needles before. This was deeper. It felt like his memories were being pulled out one by one. He saw his childhood, his training, the day the doctors injected him with the special serum. "What was that?" Do-hyun asked, suddenly interested. "What did they put in you?" Taeho tried to block the memory, but the machine dug deeper. The doctor had said, "This will change your cells. It might save you one day, or it might do nothing. We don't know yet. Your brain is different," Do-hyun said, looking at the screen. "It resists our machine in ways I haven't seen before." He pressed more buttons, and the pain grew worse. Through the pain, Taeho remembered the mission, the plans he had seen, the Empire's new weapon. It could destroy whole planets, and Earth was first on their list. "I see it," Do-hyun said excitedly. "The weapon. You found our plans." A new voice came from a speaker. It was Jae-won. "How much did he send to Earth?" "Not enough," Do-hyun answered. "They have pieces, but not the full picture." "Then we continue as planned," Jae-won said. "But I want everything he knows. Use the Mind Ripper if you must." Do-hyun's face turned pale. "The Mind Ripper? But Admiral," No one has survived that. Then he won't be the first, Jai-Won said coldly. Do it. As Do-hyun prepared a new machine, Tae-ho felt something strange inside his body, a warmth spreading from his chest. The serum. Was it finally doing something? But there was no time to wonder. The Mind Ripper was coming, and Tae-ho knew he might not survive what came next. The Mind Ripper was a small device, too small to cause so much fear. It looked like a silver box with 3 thin needles coming out of it. Do-hyun held it like it might bite him. Last chance, human, Do-hyun said. Tell us what Earth knows. Tell us your secrets. Tae-ho could barely keep his eyes open. His body hurt everywhere, but he still managed to smile. Go to hell, he whispered. Do-hyun sighed. As you wish. He placed the Mind Ripper against Tae-ho's temple. The needles slid under his skin with almost no pain. That was strange. After all the pain before, why didn't this hurt? Then it started. The Mind Ripper didn't cause pain in the normal way. It was worse. Much worse. It felt like it was pulling Tae-ho's mind apart, memory by memory. He saw his whole life rushing past, but backward. His last mission. His training. The day he left home. His mother crying. His first day of school. Fascinating, Do-hyun said, watching the screen. I can see everything. His mind is like an open book now. A new person entered the room. A woman in a white coat. She looked worried. Commander, his vital signs are dropping too fast, she said, checking the machines connected to Tae-ho. The Mind Ripper is killing him. Keep going, Soo-min, Do-hyun ordered. We need everything he knows. Soo-min frowned but did as she was told. She adjusted some settings on the machines. His heart rate is 180 and climbing, she reported. Brain activity is off the charts. He can't take much more. Tae-ho couldn't hear them anymore. He was lost in his own memories. But something strange was happening. As the Mind Ripper pulled his memories out, something else was going in. He could see flashes of things he had never seen before, places in the station he had never been, codes he had never known, and faces, so many faces of people the Mind Ripper had been used on before. Commander, something's wrong, Soo-min said with alarm in her voice. The Mind Ripper is showing unusual patterns. It's sending data both ways. Do-hyun looked concerned for the first time. That's impossible. It only extracts. It cannot implant. Well, it's doing something it shouldn't, Soo-min insisted, and his body can't handle it much longer. Tae-ho's body started to shake. The machines around him beat faster and louder. Then, suddenly, his back arched up from the table. His eyes opened wide, staring at nothing. He's having a seizure, Soo-min shouted. She tried to hold him down. Did we get everything? Do-hyun asked, more concerned about the data than the man. Most of it, but Tae-ho's body fell back to the table. All the machines stopped beeping and showed flat lines. He's dead, Soo-min said quietly. Do-hyun removed the Mind Ripper. Time of death. Soo-min checked her watch. 15:42 station time. Inform Admiral Jai-won that the prisoner is dead, but we have most of the information we needed. Do-hyun looked down at Tae-ho's still body. Earth doesn't know enough to stop us. What about the body? Soo-min asked. Disposal unit, Do-hyun said with a wave of his hand. Nothing special about him now. 2 guards came in and unstrapped Tae-ho's body from the table. They lifted him roughly and carried him out of the room. As they left, Soo-min noticed something on her screens, a tiny blip of activity, then nothing again. She frowned and looked closer. There it was again, small bursts of electrical activity in the dead man's cells. Commander, she started to say, but Do-hyun had already left. Soo-min looked at her screen again, but the signal was gone. She must have imagined it. No one's cells stayed active after death. It was impossible. She made a note in the system anyway. Unusual cellular activity post-mortem. possible equipment malfunction. Meanwhile, deep in the station, the guards dumped Taiho's body into a large chute marked biological waste. His body slid down into the darkness, landing in a pile of other dead things at the bottom of the station. The guards didn't notice the small blue glow that started under Taiho's skin, a glow that was getting stronger by the minute. The waste room was dark and cold. The only light came from small blue dots on the ceiling, and from Taiho's skin. The blue glow under his skin grew stronger. It spread through his body like tiny rivers of light. First his chest, then his arms and legs, and finally his face. His dead cells began to move again. Exactly 40 minutes after he was declared dead, Taiho's eyes snapped open. He gasped. Air filled his lungs like fire. His heart started beating again, too fast at first, then settling into a steady rhythm. He sat up slowly, looking around at the dark room filled with waste. I'm alive. His voice was rough. His throat hurt. Memories rushed back. The mission, the capture, the torture, the mind ripper, his death. But there were other memories too, memories that weren't his. He saw the station through Do-hyun's eyes. He knew codes and passwords he had never learned. He could see the layout of the entire station in his mind, like a map. The mind ripper, Taiho whispered. It didn't just take, it gave. He looked at his hands. The blue glow was fading, but something else was happening. His skin seemed harder. When he touched his arm, it felt different, stronger. The serum, he realized. It finally worked. Years ago, when the doctors had injected him with the experimental serum, they had explained very little, only that it contained tiny machines, nanites, they called them, that would enhance his survival capabilities. They didn't know exactly what would happen. No one did. Now Taiho knew. The nanites had been waiting for him to die. Then they started to fix him, rebuild him. But they had done more than that. The Mind Ripper had connected his brain to Imperial technology, and somehow, the nanites had used that connection. They had taken information from the Empire and put it inside him. Taiho stood up. His legs were shaky at first, but grew stronger with each step. He walked to a small puddle of water on the floor and looked at his reflection. His face was the same, but his eyes were different. They had a faint blue glow. And when he looked closely, he could see tiny blue lines under his skin, like circuits. I'm not just human anymore, he said softly. From his new memories, Do-hyun's memories, Taiho knew that the Empire was going to attack Earth in less than 12 hours. He had to stop them. But how? He was one man against an entire Imperial station. One changed man, he corrected himself. Taiho walked to the waste room door. From Do-hyun's memories, he knew it needed a handprint to open. A guard's handprint. He should be trapped. But when he placed his hand on the scanner, something strange happened. The blue lines under his skin glowed brighter. The scanner beeped and turned green. The door slid open. I can connect to their systems. Taiho was surprised but didn't have time to think about it. He stepped into the corridor, staying close to the wall. A cleaning robot rolled past without stopping. It didn't see him as human anymore. To the station's systems, he was something else now. Using Do-hyun's memories, Taiho made his way to a storage room. Inside, he found Imperial uniforms. He put one on, hiding his face with the high collar. Now he looked like any other Imperial officer. Next, he needed a weapon and a plan. In his mind, he could see Admiral Jaewon giving orders to prepare the weapon that would destroy Earth. He could see Do-hyun in his private quarters, reviewing the data stolen from Taiho's mind. Anger filled him. Not hot anger, but cold, deadly. They tortured me, Taiho said to the empty room. They killed me. They planned to destroy my world. The blue glow in his eyes grew stronger. Now I'm going to make them pay. He left the storage room, walking with the confident stride of an Imperial officer. No one looked twice at him. No one realized that the dead human had returned, and he was coming for them all. Tae-ho walked through the station corridors with purpose. His stolen uniform fit well enough. The officer's badge said Lieutenant Hyunwoo. Tae-ho hoped the real Hyunwoo wouldn't cross his path. Guards nodded to him as he passed. None of them looked closely at his face. To them, he was just another Imperial officer going about his business. From Do-hyun's memories, Tae-ho knew where to go. The station's main control room was on level 5. But first, he needed better access. Lieutenant Hyunwoo's clearance wasn't high enough. He turned down a quieter hallway. Ahead was the security office. Inside would be access cards with higher clearance. As he approached the door, he felt a strange tingling in his fingertips. When he touched the door panel, blue light flickered under his skin. The panel beeped, then showed a green light. The door opened even though Hyunwoo shouldn't have access to this room. Inside, a young woman in a technician's uniform looked up in surprise. "Lieutenant, you don't have clearance for this area," she said, standing up from her desk. Tae-ho thought fast. "Special orders from Commander Do-hyun," he said, trying to sound bored. "Need to check security protocols for the human prisoner." The woman, her badge said Minji, looked confused. "The human prisoner? He died hours ago." "Exactly," Tae-ho said. "The commander wants to make sure our systems weren't compromised during the interrogation." Minji didn't look convinced. "I should call and confirm." Before she could reach for her communicator, Tae-ho moved. He was faster than before, much faster. His hand caught her wrist gently but firmly. "That won't be necessary," he said softly. Something strange happened. Where his skin touched hers, the blue lines spread for just a second. Minji's eyes widened, then went blank. She sat back down slowly. "System access granted," she said in a flat voice. "What do you require, sir?" Tae-ho stared at his hand, then back at Minji. Had he just connected with her mind somehow? The nanites must have affected the Imperial neural implants all officers had. "I need a level 1 access card and the current location of Admiral Ji-won," he said. Minji's fingers moved across her screen. "Level 1 access cards are in the cabinet behind me. Admiral Ji-won is in the weapon control room on level 8. Tae-ho took a card from the cabinet. "You will forget I was here," he told Minji. "You've been working alone all morning." She nodded slowly. "Working alone all morning," she repeated. Tae-ho left quickly, troubled by what he had just done. The nanites were changing him in ways he didn't understand, making him less human with each passing minute. But he couldn't worry about that now. He had a mission. Using his new access card, Tae-ho took a lift to level 8. The doors opened into a busy corridor. Officers hurried back and forth, preparing for the attack on Earth. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. "Security alert," said a calm voice over the speakers. "All personnel report to duty stations. This is not a drill." Had they discovered him already? Tae-ho ducked into a side corridor as officers rushed past. A screen on the wall showed a news feed. "Unauthorized access detected in security systems. Possible intruder on station." Minji must have recovered faster than he expected. Tae-ho needed to move quickly now. He spotted 2 security droids approaching. Their red sensors scanned the corridor. They would detect that he wasn't Hyunwoo if they scanned him. Instead of hiding, Tae-ho walked directly toward them. The blue lines under his skin glowed brighter. When the droid's scanners hit him, he reached out and touched the nearest one. Blue energy sparked between his hand and the droid. Its lights flickered, then changed from red to blue. The second droid turned to attack, but the first one, now under Tae-ho's control, blocked it. There was a brief clash of metal, then both droids stood still. "Patrol complete. No intruders detected," the first droid announced. Both turned and walked away. Tae-ho stared at his hands in wonder. He could control machines with a touch. The nanites had given him powers he never imagined. The weapon control room was just ahead. Through the glass doors, Tai-Ho could see Admiral Jai-1 standing over a large holographic display of Earth. Officers moved around her, preparing for the attack. And there, in a corner, was Commander Do-hyun, the man who had tortured him to death. Tai-Ho felt cold rage build inside him. The blue glow in his eyes grew stronger. The time for hiding was over. Now, he whispered, they learn what it means to kill a human and have him come back. Tai-Ho waited until most officers left the weapon control room. Only Do-hyun remained inside, working alone. Perfect. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Do-hyun didn't look up from his screen. I said I don't want to be disturbed, he snapped. Not even by a dead man? Tai-Ho asked. Do-hyun froze. His fingers stopped moving over the screen. Slowly, he turned. His eyes widened in shock. Impossible, he whispered. You're dead. I watched you die. I got better, Tai-Ho said, stepping closer. The door locked behind him with a flash of blue light from his fingers. Do-hyun reached for his weapon, but Tai-Ho moved faster than any human should. In a blink, he was across the room. His hand closed around Do-hyun's throat. You tortured me, Tai-Ho said quietly. You killed me. Now I want answers. Blue lines spread from Tai-Ho's fingers onto Do-hyun's skin. The commander gasped as their minds connected. What? What are you doing to me? Do-hyun's voice shook with fear. The same thing you did to me, Tai-Ho said. I'm taking what I need. Through the connection, Tai-Ho saw everything. The Empire's plans for Earth, the weapons' weaknesses, the fleet positions. Most importantly, he saw the command codes, codes that could control the entire Imperial fleet. But he saw more than that. He saw why the Empire feared humans so much. You've been hunting us, Tai-Ho said, reading Do-hyun's thoughts. Taking human prisoners, studying us. You're afraid of us. Your kind adapts too quickly, Do-hyun gasped. Other species, they follow rules. Humans, break them, change them. Tai-Ho pushed deeper into Do-hyun's mind. The commander's face twisted in pain, the same pain Tai-Ho had felt under the Mind Ripper. The serum, Tai-Ho said. The nanites they put in me. They came from you, didn't they? The Empire created them. Yes, Do-hyun admitted. From technology we found. Ancient, powerful. We couldn't control it. It was killing our test subjects. So we tested it on humans captured in the outer colonies. And it worked on us, Tai-Ho finished. Because we adapt. Too well, Do-hyun whispered. That's why Earth must be destroyed. You're too dangerous. A noise at the door made Tai-Ho turn. Someone was trying to override the lock. Commander, are you in there? Called the voice. The system shows unauthorized access to your terminal. Lieutenant Jun-seo, Do-hyun said with a small smile. You're caught now. The door slid open. Lieutenant Jun-seo stood there with 2 security guards. Their weapons were drawn. Step away from the commander, Jun-seo ordered. Tell them who I am, Tai-Ho said to Do-hyun. Tell them what you did to me. Do-hyun's eyes darted between Tai-Ho and the guards. This is the human prisoner. He should be dead. Jun-seo's face showed confusion, then horror. The one from the interrogation. That's impossible. Clearly, it's not, Tai-Ho said. The guards fired their weapons. Energy bolts shot toward Tai-Ho. But something strange happened. The blue lines under his skin glowed bright, and the energy bolts slowed down, then stopped in midair. Tai-Ho looked as surprised as the others. The nanites were protecting him. With a flick of his hand, the energy bolts reversed direction. Not toward the guards, but into the ceiling. Alarms blared. You should run, Tai-Ho told the guards. This isn't your fight. They didn't need to be told twice. They turned and fled. But Jun-seo stood his ground, drawing a knife from his belt. "Imperial officers don't run," he said, advancing on Taiho. Taiho sighed. "Then Imperial officers die." He grabbed Jun Seo's wrist as the lieutenant lunged. The same blue energy flowed into Jun Seo, but not to control him, to overload his neural implants. Jun Seo collapsed to the floor, unconscious but alive. Taiho turned back to Du Hyun. "Now, where were we?" You won't reach the Admiral," Du Hyun said, backing away. "The entire station knows about you now." "Good," Taiho smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Let them know death is coming for them. Let them know a human is coming for them." Do Hyun made a desperate lunge for the alarm on the wall. Taiho caught him and slammed his head against the control panel. Do Hyun slumped to the floor, blood trickling from his forehead. "Thank you for everything you taught me, Commander," Taiho said to the unconscious man. "I couldn't have done this without you." He stepped over Do Hyun's body and walked to the main terminal. His fingers, glowing blue, moved over the controls. "Now, let's pay a visit to Admiral Jaewon." Red emergency lights flashed throughout the station. Alarms blared. Over the speakers, a calm voice repeated, "All personnel to battle stations. Human intruder detected. This is not a drill." Taiho moved quickly through the corridors. Guards ran past him, not seeing the enemy right beside them. The nanites were changing how he appeared to others, a simple trick of light that made him hard to notice. The command center was just ahead. From Do Hyun's memories, Taiho knew Admiral Ji-won would be there, directing the hunt for him. Inside that room, he would also find the main controls for the weapon aimed at Earth. He touched a panel beside the massive doors of the command center. The blue lines under his skin glowed brightly. The station's security system recognized him as having the highest clearance. The doors slid open. Inside, 30 Imperial officers worked at stations around a large round table. Above the table floated a hologram of the station and surrounding space. A red dot moved through the hologram. That was him. Taiho realized. They were tracking him, but their information was wrong. They thought he was still 2 levels below. At the center of it all stood Admiral Ji-won. Her face was hard as stone as she barked orders. "Lock down all escape pods. I want that human found and terminated." Taiho stepped forward. "Looking for me." Every head in the room turned. For a moment, no one moved. Then, Jae-won's eyes widened in shock and rage. "Guards," she shouted. 6 armed guards rushed toward Taiho. He didn't try to run. He didn't try to hide. Instead, he raised his hands, palms out. Blue energy shot from his fingertips, hitting each guard. They dropped to the floor, alive but unable to move. "What are you?" Jae-won asked, her voice steady despite her fear. "I'm what you made me," Taiho answered. "You tortured me. You killed me. But death wasn't the end. It was just the beginning." He walked forward. Officers scrambled out of his way. Some drew weapons, but after seeing what happened to the guards, they didn't fire. "The nanites you tested on humans," Taiho continued. "They worked better than you expected. They rebuilt me, improved me. And now I'm going to stop you from destroying my world." Jae-won lunged for a red button on the control panel. "Station self-destruct sequence," she said clearly. "Authorization. Jae-won Alpha 9. Taiho moved faster than anyone could see. His hand clamped over her mouth, stopping the command. Blue energy flowed from his fingers into her neural implants. "Not today, Admiral," he said softly. Unlike with Du Hyun, Taiho didn't just take information from Jae-won's mind. He took control. Her eyes glazed over as the nanites in his system connected with the technology in hers. "Order everyone to leave," he told her. Jae-won's voice came out flat and emotionless. "All personnel evacuate the command center immediately." "That is an order." The officers looked confused, but years of following orders won out. They filed out of the room quickly. When the last one left, The doors sealed shut. "Now," Taiho said to Jaiwan, "give me access to all Imperial systems." Her fingers moved across the control panel, entering codes and passwords that only the highest-ranking admiral would know. Screens lit up around them, showing Imperial ships, bases, and communication networks. "Perfect," Taiho said. His own fingers, glowing blue, began to move across the screens. He was uploading everything to Earth: fleet positions, weapon schematics, Imperial codes, everything they would need to defend themselves. But he did more than that. He sent commands to the Imperial fleet. Ships began to power down. Weapons went offline. The massive weapon pointed at Earth shut down. "What are you doing?" Jaewon asked, fighting against his control. "I'm saving my people," Taiho replied. "And I'm showing the Empire what happens when you push humans too far." He activated the station's communication system. His face appeared on screens throughout the station and on every Imperial ship within range. "Attention Imperial forces," he said. "I am Captain Taiho Kim of Earth. The human you tortured to death has returned, and I bring with me humanity's vengeance." The blue glow in his eyes grew brighter. "Your admiral is under my control. Your fleet is at my command. The weapon you plan to use against Earth is now useless." He leaned closer to the screen, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "Remember this day. Remember what one human could do to your entire empire. Now imagine what will happen when you face all of us." Chaos erupted throughout the Imperial fleet. Ship captains tried to regain control of their vessels. Engineers worked to bypass the shutdown commands. Nothing worked. On the station, Security Chief Hansol gathered his elite team outside the command center. "Whatever that human has become, we must stop him," Hansol told his soldiers. "The fate of the Empire depends on it." They placed explosives on the sealed doors. The blast shook the entire level, but when the smoke cleared, the doors remained closed. Taiho had reinforced them with the station's emergency shields. Inside the command center, Taiho worked quickly. His fingers danced across the controls, glowing blue with each touch. Through Admiral Ju-1, who still stood in a trance beside him, he accessed the deepest Imperial secrets. "So that's why you fear us," Taiho said as he read the classified files. "Humans aren't the first species you've experimented on. But we're the first to turn your weapons against you." He found files about other human prisoners, taken from Earth's outer colonies years ago. The Empire had been studying humans in secret, learning their strengths and weaknesses, preparing for a full invasion. The station shook as Hansol's team tried another approach, cutting through the floor below the command center. "Persistent," Taiho muttered. He touched a console, sending a surge of energy through the deck plates. The cutting stopped. Screams echoed through the communication system. Taiho frowned. He hadn't wanted to hurt anyone. The nanites were making him colder, more calculating, more like the Empire he was fighting against. "I need to finish this quickly," he said to himself. He turned the station's weapons systems against the Imperial ships that were trying to flee, not to destroy them, but to disable their engines and weapons. One by one, the mighty warships of the Empire became floating hulks. On a screen, he saw an incoming transmission from Earth. They had received his data packet and were responding. The face of General Shin appeared, looking shocked but determined. "Captain Kim, is that really you?" the general asked. "What's left of me?" Taiho replied. "Your vital signs were reported as terminated. How is this possible?" "It's a long story, sir," Taiho said. "But right now, I need you to prepare. I've disabled the Imperial fleet, but they'll eventually regain control. You have maybe 24 hours to get our defenses ready." "Understood," General Shin said. "And the weapon they were planning to use against us?" "Neutralized," Taiho assured him. "I sent you the schematics. You'll see it has a fatal flaw in the power core design." The station shook again. Hansol had found another way in. Security droids were cutting through a maintenance shaft behind Taiho. "I don't have much time," Taiho told the general. There's something else you should know. The Empire has allies, other species who fear humans as much as they do. They'll be coming too. General Shin nodded grimly. We'll be ready. The wall behind Taeho burst open. Security droids poured through, weapons firing. Energy bolts hit Taeho's body, but the blue glow under his skin absorbed them. He didn't even flinch. I have to go, sir, Taeho said calmly. Good luck. He cut the transmission and turned to face the droids. With a wave of his hand, blue energy shot from his fingertips. The droids stopped moving, then turned and fired on each other. Han Sol stepped through the smoking hole in the wall, a large energy weapon in his hands. Whatever you are, Han Sol said, you're not leaving this station alive. Taeho smiled sadly. I already died here once today. I don't plan to do it again. Han Sol fired. The weapon was designed to take down armored vehicles. The energy beam hit Taeho directly in the chest and was absorbed into his glowing skin. Taeho didn't attack Han Sol. Instead, he touched the main computer one last time. Blue energy flowed from his fingers. But this time, it didn't stop. It kept flowing, spreading throughout the system. His body began to fade, becoming transparent, then translucent, then gone entirely. Han Sol stared in disbelief at the empty space where Taeho had been standing. Where did he go? He demanded. Admiral G1, free from Taeho's control now that he was gone, looked at the screens in horror. He didn't go anywhere, she whispered. He's everywhere. All across the station, screens lit up with Taeho's face. His voice came from every speaker. I am no longer just human. I am something new, something you created, and I will not allow you to threaten my world again. 1 year had passed since the day Taeho Kim died and was reborn. Earth had changed. The whole galaxy had changed. General Shin stood before the United Earth Council, his uniform decorated with new medals. Behind him, a large screen showed a map of the galaxy. Many areas once controlled by the Empire were now colored green. Free. The Empire is falling, General Shin told the Council. Not just because of our weapons or our soldiers, but because of the truth that Captain Kim revealed. The screen changed to show images of alien species, some humanoid, some very different. All had once been slaves or subjects of the Empire. The Empire wasn't just our enemy, Shin continued. They were the enemy of freedom throughout the galaxy. When Captain Kim exposed their secrets, it wasn't just humans who responded. It was every species they had ever hurt or controlled. In a small room off the main chamber, Medical Officer Su Min waited nervously. The Empire had sent her as part of a peace delegation, one of the few Imperial officials who had shown sympathy to captives. She had been the one to notice the strange readings after Taeho's death. A door opened. A young woman in an Earth Defense Force uniform entered. The Council will see you now, she told Su Min. Su Min followed her into the main chamber. All eyes turned to watch the Imperial officer enter. Some faces showed anger, others curiosity. General Shin nodded to her. Tell them what you told me. Su Min stepped forward, her voice shaking at first, then growing stronger. The Empire has been collecting humans for over 200 years, she said, taking them from far colonies where they wouldn't be missed, studying them, testing them. The council members looked shocked. Why? Asked one. Because humans are unique, Su Min explained. Your cells can change and adapt faster than any species we've encountered. Your minds resist our neural control techniques. Your bodies can be enhanced in ways that killed our test subjects. She took a deep breath. The Empire found ancient technology, machines smaller than a cell that could change living tissue. We call them nanites. We couldn't control them. They killed everyone we tested them on. Everyone except humans. The screen behind her showed microscopic images of the nanites. Tiny blue machines rebuilding cells. The nanites responded to human DNA in ways we never expected, Su Min continued. They bonded with it, enhanced it. That's why Captain Kim could do what he did after we. after we killed him. The chamber was silent. Then a voice spoke from everywhere and nowhere at once. That's not the whole truth. The screens around the room flickered. Taiho's face appeared on all of them. He looked mostly human, but with faint blue lines visible beneath his skin. His eyes glowed softly. The Empire didn't just fear humans because we could use their technology, Taiho said. They feared us because we can change, adapt, overcome. The nanites were just tools. The real power was always in our nature. General Shin smiled. Captain Kim has been monitoring Imperial communications throughout the galaxy. He exists now as both flesh and data, perhaps the first of a new kind of human. Not just monitoring, Taiho corrected. I've been helping the enslaved species rise up. The Empire took everything from me, so I've been taking everything from them. On the screen, the map of the galaxy updated in real time. More areas turned from red to green as Empire control faded. But revenge isn't enough, Taiho continued, his voice softer now. The Empire tortured me to death. They planned to destroy our world. I could have destroyed them in return. Part of me wanted to. His image seemed to become more human, the blue glow fading slightly. Instead, I chose to free those they enslaved, to build something better than the Empire ever was. The nanites changed me, but I didn't let them take my humanity. Sumin looked up at his image, tears in her eyes. The Empire is offering unconditional surrender. The remaining leaders are asking for mercy. Taiho was silent for a moment. Everyone in the chamber waited for his response. Mercy, he finally said. That's what makes us human. Not our ability to adapt or survive or fight back. It's our capacity for mercy even when it isn't deserved. He looked directly at the council members. Accept their surrender. End this war. Show them that humans can do more than just return from death. His image began to fade from the screens. We can also create new life.